Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Tom Spark. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be comparing Proton and NordVPN to help you decide which one you should buy in 2025. If you guys are like me, you're kind of worried about getting doxxed. You don't want your real life name being associated with your address, your phone number, and even the information related to your families. If someone finds that real life name, unfortunately, a lot of websites host this information for people to freely find for free. That's why I recommend a service like Incog. I've reviewed almost all the services out there like this, and this one is still the best one. I personally use it myself, so I could vouch for it. Why do I use it? Well, the simple answer is it does the same thing all the other ones do, except it's cheaper. $90 for 1 year. It will remove your information from all the websites out there on the internet, so people can't dox you, find out your address, your phone number, and even the phone number of your friends and family. The cool thing is that it lets you have some flexibility. You can purchase the annual plan or monthly plan, and other services out there like Delete Me are like twice as expensive and don't even have a monthly plan. Additionally, Incog even has a annual plan where you can invite up to 4 people for around $200 a year to move all their information as well. So click the link in the description down below to support Incog and me. I'll get a small cutback if you decide to purchase it, but if you don't want to help support the channel, this video is not sponsored by Incog, so I'll make no money just from this little ad if you decide not to purchase it. Just one of my favorite products, and if you want to help support the channel and encourage your privacy to be better on the internet as well, check out the link in the description down below. You also should be able to get the best price, whatever the discount is. Now, both these VPNs are very good, but there are some important differences between the two that might make it so you go one way or the other. So I'm going to be trying to give you my best subjective take on which VPN is right for you in this video. I'll be putting links for both of these in the description down below. If you decide to click on those links, you'll get the deal seen in this video. You'll help support the channel at no extra cost to you. And both these VPNs have 30-day refund policies, so it's a win-win-win. All right, guys, so let's get into the video. Which one should you choose, Proton or NordVPN? All right, guys, so here's Proton, or here's Nord, and here's Proton. So with my deal with Nord, you get around for 2 years, you could get this plan right here. It's going around $81 for 28 months. That's a pretty good deal. This also includes some extra things like Nord's mesh feature, which allows you to kind of set up a local area network to remote in from your other devices. This can be very useful for media streaming, sharing access to media servers, doing LAN gaming and stuff like that. And it's definitely a pretty cool feature from NordVPN that they include in every package for free. It even lets you do file transfer if you're connected on NordVPN on your phone and on your computer, from your phone to your computer through a secure WireGuard tunnel. Very nice. It's also completely open source, which is very nice from NordVPN for that feature. Next up, we have ProtonVPN. It's going to be around $107 for 24 months. So NordVPN is definitely cheaper long term, which definitely makes it a better deal if you're looking to have a VPN for a long time. So with this one, you get 24 months for $107, and with Nord, you get 28 months for $81. So you get more time, and it's actually cheaper. So if you're just looking for the cheapest option, I would go with Nord. However, with Nord, do be careful. I would use something like privacy.com in order to ensure it doesn't charge more on auto renewal. Since NordVPN is cheaper for the first term, they try to recoup some of their costs in the second term, but you could kind of get around that by using my links every 2 years or 28 months, and using something like privacy.com to stop subscription upcharges. You can also pay with crypto if you want, which will ensure you're not going to pay for a subscription model. Or you could just turn off auto renewal as well with Nord, and that will kind of get rid of that issue as well. Just many options there, but it is cheaper. So if you're looking for the cheaper option, Nord is the one to go for. Next up, we can kind of talk about speeds, and I do think NordVPN is a faster VPN provider than Proton. They both have big server networks, but in my speed test, NordVPN is just a little bit quicker than Proton, which means it's a little bit more optimal for stuff like streaming and torrenting and stuff like that. Another reason I personally prefer Nord for my own uses is that Proton has never and will never probably offer a SOC 5 proxy. Proton doesn't offer a SOC 5 proxy since it just kind of doesn't think it's as good as a VPN, pretty much that. It doesn't encrypt your data, so people can see your traffic, but for the purposes of torrenting, that doesn't really matter, because it's not that you really care that people see your torrenting, it's that you just don't want people to see who's torrenting, and a SOC 5 proxy will anonymize your IP address. So NordVPN doesn't really care about that. They offer it as a solution if you want it, or you could just use their VPN, and that's why I prefer NordVPN specifically for torrenting, since it's faster and it does give you more options. But But now on the flip side, why might some people prefer Proton? Well, all the clients are open source when it comes to Proton, and they do have a Linux GUI. That said, Nord does compete in some way. It does have an open source Linux client. So if you really are a stickler about privacy, you're probably going to be using Linux anyways. And, both of them have open source options there. But Proton does have a GUI on Linux where Nord still does not. So that would be something cool from Nord to implement. So a little bit of a win there for Proton in terms of that. So that's definitely something to think about if that's kind of one of your points that's really important to you. Another kind of interesting things about NordVPN providing a little bit more options. You can get dedicated IPs, which is very useful if you're someone who's dealing with captures a lot. With Proton, that's not really an option. They don't provide dedicated IPs. They think it's not private enough. But again, Nord lets you choose on what layer of anonymity you want. It doesn't kind of shove it down its throat a little bit like Proton. A lot of services like Proton, Molva, and some of these things, IVPN, they don't provide options for people. You might not want to be the most anonymous hacker in the world, right? You might just want a good VPN to anonymize some of your stuff, use a dedicated IP here and there to kind of bypass some captchas and have a good layer of anonymity while not being like 120% anonymous. So that's something with Nord that's kind of cool. They do provide that as an option. Definitely can be useful for people who want dedicated IPs. There's also a little bit of a difference when it comes to bundles between Proton and Nord. Nord kind of focuses more on kind of ad blocking and threat protection, kind of almost like an antivirus light. They also have a really good password manager, pretty good cloud storage, and they have identity protection features. You could get this all bundled in one, whereas Proton focuses a little bit more on other kind of features. They have stuff like their Proton, I think it's called like Proton Prime or something, but they don't really quite seemingly advertise it as much on this website. But Proton Mail, you could see more of those packages. So let me try to find that. So as you can see here, you have Proton Unlimited. So this will get you $9.99 a month. They don't. Oh, here's the bulk pledge. So this is $120 every 12 months. Yeah, so around 24 months, it'd be around $240. So comparing that to Nord's bundle, Nord is still going to be cheaper there, which is pretty cool. So it kind of depends on you. Do you want the cheaper plan with some of these things, or do you want Proton having the mail and stuff like that? One of the cons, though, I would say with Proton is that there are a decent amount of options out there for free email support. Stuff like Tutanota is pretty good. You can also use some of those things like Bitwarden for free, but they do have cloud storage, which is cool. But some of these things that Nord offers, like Nord Protect, you can't really get that for free necessarily. So in some ways, I think the value proposition is a little bit better with this one, but it's kind of up to you guys on which you value a little bit more there. So there has been a fair bit of controversy lately with Proton Mail, kind of Proton VPN. There was an issue with the CEO was kind of speaking up and defending Republicans for being better on privacy, which, as you all know, is complete baloney. Let's just put it that way. Trump has still not pardoned Snowden. Trump also was kind of appointing people who were trying to disband net neutrality back in the day, if you remember that. So definitely Republicans don't care about privacy. Is it Democrats' top priority either? No. Nancy Pelosi would rather do her insider trading with NVIDIA and make tons of money than really seem to care that much about privacy. But at the end of the day, it's kind of weird seeing a kind of company or spokesman of the company taking a political stance. NordVPN hasn't really done that too much. So in some ways, I would say NordVPN right now, the reputation is a little bit better than Proton. Some people are kind of pissed at Proton for that. So if this is something that really matters to you, if you don't want to support a company that's kind of speaking up for Republicans or something like that, maybe that's important to you, or maybe you don't care at all, just thought I should mention it. Overall, guys, whether you choose between Proton and Nord is ultimately up to you. The differences in the bundles are definitely something that you might consider. Nord is definitely a little bit cheaper, longer term. Just turn off some of those auto renewal and stuff like that. For me personally, I prefer NordVPN. I don't really need to get all these different bundles. I'm fine with the basic plan. I like how it's a little bit cheaper than Proton. I use Bitwarden and Tutanota, so I don't need all the little extras. I do like Nord's mesh feature. It's really cool for making LAN gaming. I specifically have used that out and it works really good. The file transfer is cool. I don't really use Linux, so I don't really care about all that stuff too much in terms of the GUI on that. I prefer NordVPN's Apple TV as well. They have an Apple TV, whereas Proton does not. The development's a little faster, the speeds are a little bit quicker, it's a little bit of a bigger VPN provider, and that's why I personally prefer it, but ultimately it's up to you. I'll put 2 links down in the description down below. If you want to use either affiliate link, I'll get a small cut back, so it doesn't really matter to me, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.